Hi everybody, this is Bev, Clarko Vision. And this video is probably about, I don't know, 2 weeks overdue or something by now. I've been ill recently and I'm now just kind of getting over it and feeling better. Thanks to COVID-19. What a pleasure that was, let me tell you. I was quite flabbergasted when I got that. Bit of a surprise, to be honest, but it's went round the whole house as a result, and basically the lack of energy that happens is no real. I just haven't wanted to do a thing for the best part of a week and a half. So, however, I'm now at the point where excuse me, and you'll have to excuse if I cough throughout this, because I do have just the remnants of an irritating cough left. I'm pleased to say that I'm starting to feel more like doing videos and, well, other things in life again. So I thought I'll jump on the metal tag because that one is what you have to do is kind of mapped out for you. So I just had to kind of select, dig through the collection. So I've kind of sat here earlier and did a wee dig through, and now I'm ready to do the video. So here we go. The questions, in case anyone else out there still wants to do it, and you've not done it yet, questions you'll find below. I've pasted them in, but I'll also leave a link to the Rock Scouts channel. He was the one that launched the metal tag, and you can see him explaining about the questions in that video as well. And not to mention, if you haven't subscribed to his channel, you can also do that as well. So without further ado, let's get into it. So 20 questions at the start of the year relating to your music collection. And so the first question is, a false start album, meaning an album you struggled with at first but grew to like. So I thought I would pick this one. Now, if you've been a follower of my channel for a while, you'll kind of get the idea that I'm not a huge thrash fan by any means. And really, since getting back into music and joining the vinyl community, I have only in the past kind of 3 to 4 years considered sampling the likes of Metallica and Megadeth. I did a while back a very non-professional kind of like a ranking type of spotlight type of thing on the Megadeth albums I have, and possibly there may be something of a similar line in the future regarding Metallica. I just don't have as many of their albums. But anyway, getting back to this, I first heard the track 1, I've said this before as well, but if you missed it, I heard the track 1 when they released it as a single back in the day, 88, and I remember it being on Top of the Pops, which was watched religiously back then every Thursday night. It closed out the show, the video for 1, and I remember reeling in horror at the awful song that it was. And I thought, oh, so that's thrash metal kind of thing. I can't remember if that was the first thrashy song I really kind of heard, or if I'd heard other ones, but that was one of the first that kind of sticks out. And I just, that pretty much turned me off of them right away. And I've never really ever been into thrash style music to a great extent, because it's not musical enough for me. It's just too much of the same thing. However, a couple of years back, I stumbled across the CD of this in a charity shop, along with puppets. And I got a hold of Ride the Lightning as well, and I sampled them. And again, they didn't float my boat too much, but this was the one I thought was, for me, the best out of those three. And I gave it another couple of listens, and I thought it's really not as bad as you used to think. You know, I mean, back in the 80s, I was a wee bairn. I would be, when this album was released, I'd be something like 11, 12-year-old. And this was me just getting into bands like Bon Jovi, Europe, Def Leppard, Poison, that kind of stuff. So, you know, this was harsh and nasty and miserable sounding and not very interesting sounding musically for me. But I think, you know, everybody knows that over time, what you like in music changes and grows and expands, etc. It does for everybody, and I think for me, I can, I won't say tolerate, because tolerate wouldn't be the right word, because I can appreciate and enjoy some thrash band albums. Not too many, but a few. And I think for me, this, out of Metallica's first 4 albums, this would probably be the one for me. Well, I should say maybe their second, third and fourth. I've never heard their debut. I haven't heard Kill 'Em All. But I've heard the others up to this one, as far as their 80s releases go. And this would be my favourite. So I now enjoy it to a point where if I want something a little bit different to my normal kind of rock and metal stuff, this is one that I would quite like to reach for. And so much so, I went and bought the one of the reissued copies on blackened and just black vinyl. So there you go. That's 7 minutes in and the first question's answered. Question 2. Album with a war theme or lyrics. So it would have been far too easy for me to just pick Sabaton, because I could have picked any Sabaton album and there you have it. But in this case I decided to go with Accepts Stalingrad, which I thought was fairly obvious as to what it's about, if you like. Yeah, really good album. This is one of my favourites from the what's his name era. You know the guy's name, the new singer, although he's not really new anymore. Mark, is it Mark Torino or something like that? James Josie. Yeah, well, his name's Mark anyway. Yeah, there it is. Mark Tornillo. Mark Tornillo, yeah. So, that is my pick for the war-themed album. Songs, lyrics, etc. Really cool stuff. Most influential metal musician to you of the last 10 years. Right. I could have picked another person, but I chose this guy because he has been rather influential to me in checking out quite a few bands, because he's been involved in one way or another with them, whether he's been a band member, whether he's been a songwriter, whether he's been a studio engineer, mixing, and he does mixing and mastering and producing and all that kind of stuff as well. He's a multi-instrumentalist. He's from Sweden. And he is the guy that's founded this band, Blazing Stone, which is basically a running wild tribute worship band. And I happen to just love the music that this band does. It's more themed on the pirate. Well, the music and the lyrics and the songs in general focus much more on the sort of pirate theme, whereas Running Wilds don't just stick to excuse me, pirate stuff. They focus on other real worldly issues as well, but this is purely inspired, I think, by the pirate era albums. So, you know, Cedric Forsberg is his name. He plays guitars, bass, drums, vocal. He pretty much does anything you need him to do, I think, regarding being in a band. And so, as I say, he's created this band, Blazing Stone. Power, speed metal stuff. He's also the founder of this band, Rock'n'Rollers, which are more traditional style metal. People say this is kind of more of a Judas Priest inspired band. I only have the one album from this band of his at the moment, but he's the founder of this band. He's also been involved in he's worked with Marta Gabriel. I think he's either the drums or he's mixed and mastered. I can't remember. I'd need to open it, but he has been involved with that. He also has been involved with Crystal Viper. He did join this band and was the drummer in this band for a little while. I think he's since left the band for personal reasons or something. But he has been involved with Crystal Viper, and nonetheless Marta Gabriel, who is in Crystal Viper, she plays the bass now for his band Blazing Stone, so they do work closely together. He's been in loads of other bands that I don't have stuff from as well, and this band here, it's another kind of Running Wild inspired tribute kind of worship style, pirate metal kind of stuff. This band, Silverbones, they're from Italy, and Cedric Forsberg, he mixed and mastered this, and he also played the drums on this record. While he's not actually a member of the band, he did play the drums on the record. The band has a different drummer as their drummer now. But this is the only full-length album this band's released, and I really wish they would come back with some more material, because this is really good stuff as well. I enjoy that. So yeah, Cedric Forsberg, excellent musician, and has had a lot of great stuff that I've enjoyed come out. Next question, where are we? A band you abandon your to see list. Well, that pretty much everybody basically that I like. See, back in the day, I mean, as I said, in 1988, I was 11 or 12-year-old, and so I was probably just a bit too young to be attending heavy metal concerts and hard rock band concerts back then. So therefore, I kind of missed out back in the day on seeing these guys live. Then come along, the 90s come along, and my life changes dramatically, both music-wise and non-music-wise. But music-wise, it was a really difficult time anyway. And first, I did see a band in the 90s live, and that was Bon Jovi. I kind of wanted to at least try and see one of my kind of favourite bands of the time, of the 80s, and Bon Jovi were still around. Pretty much the same lineup, apart from the bass player, Alec John Such, rest in peace. He was the only one out of that band that had left, so it was pretty much the original setup apart from him. And they were on the what the devil's it called? These Days tour it was. So these guys live in '96, and it was absolutely great, wonderful experience. And that was pretty much it. I did have tickets to go and see them again on the Crush tour and the Bounce tour, but due to health issues that never happened. That was an interesting. I think one was due to health issues, and the other time was due to an issue with tickets. But anyway, And so yeah, and now 46-year-old Beverly really can't, I'll say can't attend gigs. I just can't do that, just like everybody else does, because I have severe anxiety issues nowadays. And unless you understand yourself and have experienced it yourself, you really won't have a clue. But believe me, it's quite a real issue to deal with, and it just affects my abilities to do such things. I would love more than anything to see Iron Maiden. I'd love to see Powerwolf. I'd love to see Sabaton. I'd love to see Running Wild. But I am content enough to just, well, I'm resigned to the fact that it'll probably never happen for me. So yeah, everybody. So we'll move on for that one, you know. So, which happens to be question 5. I've not got I need my glasses these days to read these things. An album that energises you. Well, again, that could be more or less everything in this room, but I made a pick. And I went for Beast in Black's From Hell with Love. This is my favourite album from these guys, and this is incredibly energising. It's just so uplifting, it's unbelievable. It's just pure feel-good dance metal, is what I like to refer to it as. 6. Big Freeze. Show a snow or ice album cover or song or lyric. Well, I had a few of those as well, but I thought I would just pick this one, Sonata Arctica, and their album Talveo. As you can see, that looks a rather snowy, wintry kind of scene, even on the back as well. I think that is definitely Northern Hemisphere snow. And there is a song on here which fits the bill perfectly, a song, track 3, titled Cold. There you go. I think that's rather icy and cold, but yeah, I could have picked a few. There's Windrose and their album Winter Saga. There's also Windrose and their other album Stonehymn with another wintry cover, but you know, I've got plenty kind of wintry albums, but that'll do. Sonata Arctica is the one. Moving on. 7. A song title with royal ties. Okay. Again, I could have, there was a few here I could have gone for, but I couldn't resist going with this one. I just love the album and the album cover, and it's Warrior Path's album, The Mad King. That's the album, and there's a track, title track is track 2, The Mad King. So yeah, that is my King. I did another one as well, which I thought was kind of appropriate, I suppose, and it's from Megadeth's Dystopia. We have a track here near the bottom, so it's the third last track, called Lying in State. If you can make that out, minus the glare. That's terrible, eh? Sorry about the glare, because it's in one of these things as well. But yeah, Lying in State, which, as I'm sure you're aware, if you're somebody of significant royal importance and you pass, you spend a little while lying in state, which is what happened to our Queen last September, so I thought that was kind of appropriate to the cause as well. To the question, even. Number 8, a predominantly green album cover. I picked this one because the artwork's pretty amazing. Orden Ogan's Ravenhead. It's predominantly green. I don't know how well the green sort of shows up with the light, etc. But it's a gatefold, so the full kind of cover, as you can see, there's lots of sort of green. Green is the predominant or the dominant colour here, definitely, and on the inside more green. So that is that one. Question 9. Show an album released in 2021 that you bought but have not listened to this year. I'm assuming this year means 2022. So for me, I picked this one by WET. This is their 2021 release. Retransmission, it's called. And I did listen to it a couple of times when I bought it. It did come out in 2021 on Frontiers. But I've not been in too much of a hurry to... For some reason, this one was a little put off with it because it was just almost too sickly sweet for me, for my tastes. This particular one. I do have a couple of others from WET, which I much prefer, but this one just seemed that little bit too, as I say, sickly sweet, AOR, over polished kind of modern Def Leppard almost, except it's far better than that. But you know, it just wasn't. I didn't enjoy it as much, so I haven't listened to that in a good while. Excuse me. Best find of 2022, old or new? Well, I picked up 2 or 3 really good finds, and they were all kind of OGs from back in the day, and I couldn't decide what was the best out of this one here, Psychotic Supper by Tesla, or this one, Tyson Dog and Beware of the Dog. So these are both originals. This one's 1984, is it? Pretty sure this was 1984. And that's 1991. Both of these I managed to land really good copies, and what was really nice about this one as well is it's a Canadian pressing on the Banzai record label, and it's my first ever record on the Banzai label, and I kind of really thought that was a cool label, one of these ones. So just to have it on that particular label was really special. This is kind of like traditional heavy metal, just classic sort of new wave of British heavy metal type of band, although it's 1984 when that movement was kind of past. But it's just classic heavy metal, and Tesla's kind of the melodic hard rock. That one is, I think, my favourite Tesla album, to be honest. So yeah, that was that. Brilliant, brilliant stuff. An album sold to you... Am I on the right track here? That was number 11, this is 12. An album sold to you by a song. That'll be this one, I think. Oh no. I have missed one. I beg your pardon. 1 minute. Let me just get this right. So that was the best find. And that means we're now on 11, which is a new band or album discovery of 2022. Well, yes. And I'm going to show this one. This is the band Bad Sister, who I just discovered towards the end of last year. It's one of the last ones that came in. In fact, it was Santa Claus that got me this for Christmas. Now the band have been in existence since about 1980, but I only discovered them last year. And it just so happens that this is their latest album, which was just released last year in 2022. It is called Pride and Joy Music 22, and it's called Where Will You Go? So this is female-fronted, kind of German hard rock, melodic, kind of, you know, you would put this in the realms of the likes of Vixen, Doro, Warlock maybe, who else? Joan Jett, you know, Femme Fatale, these kind of bands, that sort of thing. And this is just, you know, a modern version of that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, Bad Sister. Right, now on to the album that was sold to you by a song. Okay, this is number 12, and I'm going to show you this one. Because this basically was sold to me by a song. I wanted to get this album simply because of the track, the opening track, You Dreamer. I used to have the CD single for that song, which came out in about the mid-90s, 95. Just before my buying of music petered out, really. It's probably one of the last singles I picked up. So Big Country released the track You Dreamer, which is off this album, Why the Long Face. First track on there, if you're able to make it out. And for a long time that was the only song I had heard from this album. And I just picked the album up again last year some point. I found a copy of it, and I had never heard any of the other tracks. And because I like Big Country, the original Big Country, I decided to grab it. So there you go. Why the Long Face? What have we got here? Number 13, the most anticipated albums of 2023. Okay, well, I think for me, well, I'm excited about Judas Priest, with them supposed to be, you know, a new album in the works. If it comes out this year, I don't think there's an official release date or anything set for them yet, but that really interested, because if it's anything like on the level of Firepower, it should be blooming marvellous. But also ones that I do know are coming out, Elven King, Italian folk power metal band. They have their new album coming out in April this year. Can't wait for that. It's the second part of a trilogy. And also the band Night Demon. They are releasing a new album in the upcoming, I think it's next month actually. So I'm really excited about that as well. I've heard a track on YouTube and it sounds great. So that's two at the moment, but you know, there's more. I'm even interested, I don't know about the rest of you like, but I am a little bit interested in what the new Metallica album's going to be like, because the two tracks I've heard of for that on YouTube I quite like the sound of. I detect hints of, well, I think it's what their influences were. For example, and certainly in one of the tracks I detected a bit of Diamond Head influence from the new wave of British heavy metal days. I thought there was a bit of that vibe going on, and the drums sound pretty decent sounding in that as well. So I'm curious as to what they're going to do. I think yous are all smart enough to realise you're not going to get another Puppets or Lightning, but such is life, I guess. So yeah, we'll see what 2023 brings musically. Lots of good stuff, hopefully. And 14, the 23rd album on your shelf. Okay, I counted 23 in, and it was this one here, Swedish band Alien. And this was their second album, Shifting Gear. This came out 1990. kind of melodic hard rock band on Virgin Scandinavia. So that is the 23rd album. Pretty good stuff, although their debut album's much better, I have to say. But that one's pretty decent listen. Next up, 15. The last album that has gone into your collection, well, that is this one. Just recently come in the door, and it's my first 2023 release. The new album from Screamer just dropped the other week there. In fact, last Friday, a week past Friday or something. I had this on pre-order from last year, and it's on Steamhammer, SPV Steamhammer. They are now signed to... This band is absolutely fantastic. It's called Kingmaker. And because I've been so ill recently, I've had this in the house for about a week, and I've not even put it on the turntable yet. And I'm really eager to hear it all. I've heard a couple of the tracks, superb. I have every album this band has released. This will be, I think, their 5th or 6th. Again, another band out of Sweden, just tremendous, traditional style, modern heavy metal. And the album cover's pretty cool as well. It's a bit dark, but rather excellent stuff. You'll see more of this probably in my next update video, whatever that'll be. A random pull from the collection. Okay, I asked another member of the household to come in here and just pull one off the shelf from anywhere, and it is this one. Twisted Sisters, what is it? Stay Hungry. This is the Music on Vinyl reissue. So there we are. Good stuff from back in the day. A band or an artist you discovered through social media. Well, there's quite a few of those. I do discover a lot of bands through social media, and that's mostly through YouTube, sometimes Bandcamp, and occasionally if somebody posts something on Facebook that I like the look of, I'll investigate further. So these are kind of the ways, but this one was, I think this was just browsing YouTube, and it's a band called Emerald Rage. I think this is their debut. I think they're a fairly new band. This is on Stormspell Records. And again, sorry about that. And this is called High King. But yeah, again, they're just a new wave of traditional heavy metal kind of band. Really enjoyable stuff. I feel enjoy this. In fact, according to this, yeah, it does say new wave of traditional heavy metal, if you can make that out. So yeah, the Emerald Rage, check them out, guys. A new release you didn't buy this year. Wait a minute, I've skipped again. No, that's 18. Where do you see your collection progressing in the next 5 years because of the prices and everything going up? I have no idea, to be honest with you. 5 years is quite a long time away. It's quite a long span of time as far as music collecting goes. But ideally, I'd like it to just continue to grow, but I think it will grow more slowly. And I think also I will only be ordering vinyl of the artists I really, really have to have a final copy of. And even then, it will still depend on the price, because yeah, everybody knows prices are going up, and not just records, everything's going up. Food, bills, you know, etc, etc. We're all in the same world. So yeah, I think like a lot of people, I'm probably going to buy a bit more on the CD side of things, because they're cheaper, even though the CDs are going up in price as well, unfortunately. And again, I might be just, I don't know. It's hard for me to say. I mean, I love my music. I love having a record collection full of music that I like. I may go through the collection and do a cull and see. There's a few things that I could consider getting rid of because I really don't listen, or I maybe don't like the band enough to want to keep a certain album or something, so that may happen, but I do need to watch my space as well, because I don't really have a lot of it, but we'll worry about the space issue when it comes, but the main thing is obviously the price, so I think the foreseeable is more CDs, less records. It's not just the prices, it's the quality control as well that really annoys you sometimes. And maybe more careful consideration as to whether I really want to have something or not. Certainly within the next year or two. As for the 5, you know, if I win the lottery, then it doesn't really matter. I'll buy a big mansion just to house my vinyl and CDs and things and guitars. So now, so that was 18. 19, a new release she didn't buy this year, or last year even, based on price alone. Well, that was Iron Maiden's Number of the Beast 40th anniversary, because there's no way in hell I am paying 65 quid or whatever it was at first, and it dropped to 50 around Christmas time, and I'm thinking, oh, it needs to drop more, I'm sorry, because when I see on Amazon that it's hovering around the 50 mark, or I think it was 54 the last time I looked, it goes up and down, and I see right underneath it Senjutsu, the silver and black issue, which I bought off Amazon, is now under 30, you know. Same band, triple album set. It's just a piece of nonsense, really, what goes on with prices. So, until that drops, it's going to be staying in Amazon's warehouse, I'm afraid. And I really would love to have that version, because it's got the different track from the original release and also the kind of live thing as well. So, but it's no happening, not at that price. So, 20. A song that doesn't belong, a song that lets an album down. Well, oops, that's just this thing cracking, that was him. I decided to go with, there's a track on this album here, and I quite like this album. I think this is a pretty good album. It's quite a heavy sounding album, actually. There's a track on side 2 here, which is a cover of, is it Chuck Berry or whoever did the original? I don't know. Johnny B. Good. I would say, yeah, I think it kind of lets the album down. It's obviously it's a cover. It's not the best cover of a song. I don't think it's the absolute worst in the world either, but it's not one I particularly enjoy listening to, but I do like the rest of this album. So there you go, Johnny B. Good on Ram It Down. And that is my vinyl tag, guys. Thank you all for watching. I'm sorry that I've rambled again, as I tend to do, I guess. So hopefully more energy will come back to me, and I'll maybe get a few more videos going. I've still got my review thing of last year to come. Excuse me. But yeah, and hopefully, you know, we'll all have a lovely year and all that stuff. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in another video, and bye bye.